Hi everybody, this is Christy. I am the Intimate Warrior. I thank you so much for stopping by, and as always, I send you love. In today's video, I want to talk about the father principle. And why am I doing this? Right now, we are kind of dealing with, although the energy is still very feminine, because it takes the feminine energy to help us rise and create balance within ourselves. That takes us to, at the higher levels of the feminine energy, to the mother principle, which therefore takes us to the higher aspects of the father, or the masculine energy, which takes us to the father principle. In order to know the true father source and truly feel safe with it, whether it's within this reality or just in general, we have to heal the feminine aspects of self. We have to deal with those issues that are very feminine. Sexual misery, which still can work back and forth between the feminine energy as well as the masculine energy. Because without the true healing of the feminine energy, the masculine or men cannot be healed of that sexual abuse or sexual misery type of programming and control. Abandonment issues. And fear works back and forth to both of these energies. And anger can work back and forth. Manipulation is something that comes from the masculine aspect, but because we don't have the risen female. So one works with the other, and that's the law of polarity, right? Without knowing one, we don't know the other. Without understanding it, we don't understand the other. Healing one aspect of self is going to draw inward the opposite energy that we have not been dealing with and make us face it. So why did I choose to talk about this today? Well, first, for about 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks here, a week and a half, whatever it is, I have been having this sense of, Christy, you need to watch scary movies. If you have been following me, you know my story and my fear about the boogeyman. Anything within the dark, so anything that has with monsters, spirits within it, the darkness, that deep unknown, I have been terrified of all of my life. Yet, I've always been very drawn to those types of movies. I had to watch them, no matter how afraid I was of the idea. And of course, after watching them, I would be more terrified. It's 12-12. That is the masculine principle. So that's something that I have been doing. I've been facing more of my fear here. And I have gone through phases of needing to watch scary movies and to see how I respond to those movies. And I've handled them very, very well. No reaction. And that's something that if we can get to a point of no reaction, we know that we are healed. So if you have some sort of fear or resistance towards something and life is bringing you back to that idea or situation, it is doing so to help you heal it. And we're always going to go back to that cycle. You know, and for those of you who also, again, have followed me and know that I have had a fear of being in the water, because I have not only drowned in previous existences as I lived in Atlantis and etc., but as a child I nearly drowned when I was like 3 or so in the pool. And I've tried to get back in the water, dive off of the diving board, jump in, whatever it was, only to nearly drown again and have that sense of just death and doom. Was it last summer? And please, I don't know. Last summer, it had to be last summer, God took me back to facing that fear of death. That is what I was really dealing with here. Fear of death. The illusion that when we die here, we are completely dead. And when we are afraid of dying, or if we believe in disease, those types of ideas, it is actually because it's part of the father principle, the false father tyranny, the illusion that when we feel completely separated from our God source, knowing the father principle, it is because of the embedded illusion that you are not eternal is there. That's why I have a fear. I had a fear of dying. It had nothing to do with being in the water, death, or whatever it was. It could have been anything, which is why I had carried so much fear in my life. No, I don't want to do that. I can't try new things because I'm afraid of the outcome, afraid of getting hurt, afraid of being neglected, and afraid of water. It was my excuse. We have a fear of dying. I faced that fear and got into the ocean last year. I conquered it. I've gone back again this year to double check and to make sure that I indeed have healed myself of it, and I handled it quite well again. But there's still a lot that we have to go through to prove that we are healed. Life is going to hand us lots of scenarios, experiences. People are going to trigger us into really seeing ourselves. Now, I haven't really had any experiences this past week that are causing what I am doing here. I've witnessed myself here being more aggravated, being angry inside. Not, heavy anger, but I see myself when someone is speaking that I am coming back out with a little bit of a bitterness, a little bit of an aggravated tone. All week long here, I've been doing that. And I did it this morning. And of course, it's whoever is closest to you on a daily basis is someone who is going to get the blunt of what you are going through. So it's my husband who gets it all. My husband, or my mother-in-law, or whomever is within my household that I am always around. It tends to be those you love the most that we end up hurting the most. Not on purpose. It is an unconscious thing that when you are more aware of what you are doing, you can heal from it. So this morning, I got really frustrated with myself because I just can't stop it. A few times, and it's mostly in the morning time when I'm dealing with this type of aggravation. As it goes throughout the day, I can kind of see it even more so and then stop and breathe. But this is really coming out where I don't have a chance to stop and breathe first thing in the morning, a couple hours after I wake up. And so what did I do today? I spoke, and it's not that I'm really mean, but because it's not me, how another individual is seeing it can feel. It can make them feel very low. But because I know it's not me, I feel my heart saying, Christy, wait a minute here. Although I'm not, calling anyone names, or I'm not, putting anyone down. That's never really been my forte. I know some people, when they feel attacked or are going through some things, they tend to become the bully type of thing. And this is a part of not knowing the true Father. And I myself, though, have carried more of the victim type of idea, whereas another individual can carry more of the victimizer or bully idea, which, no matter which one it is, both parties should be, or are supposed to, see their own reflection. I have been feeling aggravated, agitated, angry, maybe a little bit bitter, whatever, those types of emotions, because I felt like a victim. And I don't feel like a victim now, but I'm healing the victim and victimizer aspect still of the Father principle at a higher level for myself. But that doesn't mean, when I say at a higher level for myself, I know where I am. You are still dealing with that type of victim and victimizer, or a victim and bully type of situations, emotions, and all that at a lower level as well. Those are it's still the same type of idea, emotions. It could be the same situations you're going through, but it's taking place again at different levels depending on where you currently are. And what I did today was, thankfully, after I was witnessing myself and witnessing how I'm talking in a little bit of a maybe belittling, maybe a sense of stop doing this to me, again, that victim mentality coming out in my words, I stopped. I took a breath. I spoke with myself, and I had a little bit of a battle there. No, don't do that. My heart said yes. Apologizing can be the most difficult thing to do. I chose love today, and I will choose love continuously, but I've allowed this to go on for about a week of feeling this every single morning, pretty much. And today I had a chance. I stopped it in its tracks. I apologized. And I expressed, another individual never knows what you are going through, even if you can explain. You know what? I'm feeling really aggravated today. Still, another individual can never understand what you're going through unless they're going through the same path of ascension. And even still, depending on where that other person is at, it's hard to understand. Compassion and love is the greatest gift we can give ourselves and give to another human being. By me apologizing today, I'm able to clear this. And now I know, as I have placed love in my heart and into my mind, some of the symptoms that I have been carrying for a couple of weeks now. I mentioned maybe a week or so. I mentioned my left shoulder now. And it's a little bit in my right shoulder. So I kind of wanted to, I guess, go through that. So as, when the Holy Father principle is trying to return to us, it's really trying to build more of the character building of virtues and ethical principles that strengthen our roots. And I've already expressed that when we feel like a victim, or if we are a victimizer, this is the deep-seated cause of why we are misguided from the Father source. To return to the Father is at the higher activations of light body, where the monad is trying to be anchored in. So we construct a lot, no matter what level we are at. We are constructing a lot. There are so many levels within levels. So, for example, if you are working with, because you work through the mother arc and then the father arc principle prior to the Christos or the Christ being born within us. But you're not just working with one principle there. You could be working with 3 layers of the mother arc. You can be working with, and this is hard to explain, because as you work with one, you work with another. I like to keep in mind or express to you that you are actually, again, working through 3s, which is the triad. So within every single layer, there are 3 layers. But then through those 3 layers, there can still be a 3rd layer throughout those, creating a total of 9 layers that we are going through. And that's why it can really feel as if things are really heavy, really confusing. Especially early on in the phases when more of the physical symptoms are being felt, more of that purification, when you feel as if you are more sickly, that is still part of a father principle, that the feminine energy clears out. The father principle, which, is of course a part of the masculine energy, heals us of the idea, again, that is surrounded around death. So if disease, if you believe in disease, if you believe in war, if you believe in chaos, all of those types of things, it is as a result of the lack of understanding of the father principle. So as we become more adept at feeling completely safe with God, we can build trust with the father principle inside of ourselves. And when we have full trust in our relationship with God, we know we are ultimately protected, and we stop generating fear-based karmic backlash to others, including ourselves. We can stop being that victim or bullies, whichever one that you are. Therefore, because whatever you are, you deal with the opposite in your experiences. I have always felt like a victim. Therefore, everybody who was within my experiences, for the most part, has been a bully. Why? To teach me about myself, to heal the aspects within myself, to bring me closer to true unification. When we are on the right relationship within ourselves, pertaining to the masculine principle here, we are extremely grounded, stable, secure, and have a strong sense of our inner core self. This is all a process, and we go through this process many times within many cycles. And what was I going to talk about now? And so here's another story that I wanted to kind of express to you. I know, again, I've mentioned this in a couple of my other videos briefly. I mentioned this to my mom, and I know this is a part, again, of me healing being the victim, okay? So I explained some issues with my mom and about me not really, I was not meant to truly have children in this lifetime. But because of karmic issues, because of my fear surrounding being a mother, as a result of me being sexually abused as a child, and more than likely, I also was an abuser in previous lifetimes. I chose to correct that in this lifetime. Therefore, it was an added aspect of my lessons placed in my contract where I was given a child to have that experience and therefore heal myself of being a victimizer of abuse, sexual abuse, and correcting it. So I expressed that to my mother, the reason why I was really never meant to. But after I had my son, I was a single mother, and until I met my husband. So I believe we got married when my son was about 7 years old. So I wanted to have another experience, a beautiful experience of being pregnant and sharing it with my husband, and therefore having a child with my husband. I wanted to, again, have an experience to create a union between two people who love each other. And I wanted to give that type of gift to another human being. When I was told I couldn't have children, it destroyed me. I stopped thinking, or I never once thought, oh wow, you were blessed with life. I kept thinking about being, why would you do this to me, God? Why would you not allow me to have a child? And more specifically, not allow me to have a child when I was married and more capable of being a better mother, a better a wife, and a greater parent. Why would you rob me of that experience? Victimizer. So because I expressed that to my mother, I knew I was healing something. What we talk about is being healed all the time, or can be healed continuously if you are more aware of it. So I wanted to share that story with you, for one. And I really appreciate each and every one of you who take my stories into your own heart and take it in as a form of lesson, but more importantly of love. That whatever I express to you, I do so in honesty. I do so in gratitude, and I do so in love, in hopes to really open up your heart and your mind into kind of dissecting every single experience that you are going through, so that you can return to your source. Going back to the shoulder blades here, because even as we begin to wake up, I know I made a video long time ago about your angel wings and coming online, because in the earlier processes of my awareness of awakening, I used to have shoulder blade tenderness. And even before I knew I was awakening, I used to have those type of symptoms, shoulder blade issues in the back. That is a part of where your wings are attempting to come on. And I've been shown wings in my meditative state or through messages through source, not truly understanding what the wings signify. When we have finally anchored in, or when we are at the moment of anchoring in our monad, the wings are of course a part of the complete unification and marriage of the twin flames within, the masculine and feminine, that create the Holy Father and Holy Mother, that create the Holy Child within us. And that is the left and the right side of the brain, but also the left and right side of the body. It is also the inward and the outward. Everything has to be married within us. And they begin to kind of feel as if nails are being, or, I'm using nails being hammered into your shoulder blades. A type of so much tension. Now, depending on where you are in your body, in your process, in the beginning, you're probably feeling them behind your shoulder blade. It's giving you a sense that something is coming. It's giving you an understanding that you are not human. You are an Oraphim. You are an angelic being in human form. And when you have finally constructed your monad and are unified, you do become the fallen angel that has now arisen. So that's a part of it. And so if you are having this type of symptom, especially through now, then you are probably anchoring in. Let's see. Anchoring this in. So as I have mentioned, implants being removed, you have the ability to receive. When we are working through the 60 and above, you can begin to anchor in your 60 and 70 wings. One works with the masculine side and one works with the feminine side, which is a part of hold on, where am I? So the male principle works on the right side, we know that, which is the sixth, deals with the sixth chakra, and therefore 6D, while the 7D portal wing is on the left shoulder, which is the feminine aspects, that deals with the 7D violet ray of the crown, which is working through the planetary wings. And this is a part of removing the false matrix, and therefore merging you with your true father principle through layers. So although I am talking about right now with the wings being in 60 and 70, when we are anchoring in the father principle or understanding more of the father principle, this is at a 15D level. And so I just wanted to share this video with you today, and I hope you have a little bit more greater understanding. Keep in mind that when we are dealing with lots of anger, or when we truly believe that if we truly believe that money, or truly believe in money, or lacking, living in poverty, or I can't do this because I don't have enough, or trying to really save a lot of money for a future that you know nothing about. This is still part of healing that Father Arc principle, the Holy Father principle. And it's something that when you train yourself to grow in faith, in love. Faith is that God aspect, and love is the mother aspect. You have to merge both together. You have to teach yourself to move with a different experience. If you are having an experience that you don't like, at every given moment you have an opportunity to change it. And it doesn't mean that you have to, if you are in a bad relationship, for example, you don't have to leave the relationship. If you can think about your relationships here, no matter what it is, as a part of your reflection. You are always healing from something. And if you are healing from it, you're giving yourself love, but you're also giving the other individual love at the same time. Compassion. Love. 1. The other person exists to help push you towards your higher self. Everything in this universe can push you towards your higher self if you stay within the right mindset and awareness and love. This is Christy. Much love, health, and healing your way. I am bringing purpose to your life. Take care.